Hello guys, and welcome to another David Zimaleta. In today's video, we're going to be draining the oil from 2010 Mercedes Sprinter. Why are we doing that? We want to see if there's any water inside of the oil, because it does have an oil cooler leak. We already have drained the radiator fluid, and I've taken a look at it. There is no oil in it, which is a good sign. But the question is there going to be oil inside of the, is there going to be water inside of the oil? So we're gonna actually drain it. And by the way, all this oil you see here, this is not me changing it yet. This is actually me just parking this vehicle here, and it leaked out a bunch of oil. So before we actually drain it, I want to make the tires straight, because they're kind of like lopsided like that, and it's gonna be really hard for me to really do anything. But we're gonna actually need to make them straight. Straight, so now we are ready to drain all the oil. I'm also going to be removing the oil filter, and I want to see anything wrong with that thing. So we're gonna need like a number 13. I have, let's see, there's a 13 right here. Okay, so here we go. So we just have the oil here. I'll remove this little thing. That's from a previous job. So here's the drain plug right here. And you need a number 13 obviously to get it loose. So this is not too bad at all. It got loose pretty quickly. And then let's see, the ring is still there. We will replace this copper ring because they did include it with the oil filter, and looks like the ring itself did not even drop, so it's kind of stuck on there. So from what it looks like, it doesn't appear to have any water inside of the oil. But when I actually checked the oil, it was actually really high. So I'm actually kind of like wondering how much oil is really in here. So I'm actually going to measure that, how much oil came out. Because the oil seal is busted, and that's not a good thing. So anyways, let's continue. Hey guys, the oil is still draining. It's definitely a lot of oil in there. But I'm gonna go ahead and actually replace this bolt, put it right back, because we don't want to make a mess. And the very next thing I want to do is I want to measure how much oil has came out. That's what they've been doing, because they got an oil cooler leak, is they've been adding a lot of oil. So that's a huge amount. This is probably why it's leaking so much of it out, because there's just so much pressure. It has like nowhere to go. So what I want to find out is this. I have pretty much 10 quarts, and I have a 4-quart type of can, and I'm gonna measure to see how much we're gonna get inside of this one. So we should have only 14 quarts of oil. Hey Jason, can you hold this? Hold this from falling, just like hold this with your fingers.
Hey, I want to tell you something. My bike chain fell off.
Okay, I'll fix it. Just hold it strong, okay, please. Jason, I want you to hold this. Continue holding it. And don't step on this metal thing, because the oil will spill, please. So I want to first pour into this 4-quart can, because I could actually monitor the oil. Just hold it straight, please, so it doesn't flip over.
That's a lot of oil.
It is a lot of oil.
Wow. the oil's leaking.
No, it's not leaking yet, but it's at the very, very, very top. So we're definitely at 4 quarts or more. So we're gonna close this lid up, and we're gonna continue pouring into this can. But it's too bad they don't have a place where I could actually see how much oil. It looks like.
But right here, I think.
Can you see it?
I think right here.
Okay, just hold it. Hold this thing, please.
This stuff looks like ink.
It does look like ink.
But it's
oil.
Are you guys able to see where the oil line is?
no.
No.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it. Okay, hold this. I'm just gonna have to do it little by little.
I'm just gonna.
We have so much oil in here. I'm gonna have to bring a hole into the can.
This is like 1,000 oil. Oil costs.
It almost seems like we're at the top.
Dad, does oil cost expensive?
Okay, Kevin, hold it. Hold it.
Now look, this is where you measure oils right here.
So we still got a little bit more that we could add. Okay, Kevin, please hold it. Because you hold it good. I'm just gonna pour it very slowly. It's gonna stop leaking inside. That means it's full.
I know.
And really, these cans, they don't come full with that much oil.
Well.
I'll lift it out. Lift it up. Let's see how much oil we got. Okay.
Oh, just a little bit more.
There's a lot of oil in there.
Yeah, this was overfilled. This is why it said oil level too high. And this is actually going to be a lot more than 10 quarts because we're dumping in so much of it here. They don't come filled up to the brim.
That's a lot of oil.
Okay, it looks like we are absolutely full here.
Wow.
All the way to the top. So we're going to open up this other can. I'm gonna pour the rest of it inside here.
It's full.
Actually, we're already full here, and we still got oil left over.
Yeah, that's a lot of
That's
oil.
so much.
It is. We need another can. We got one more, so we're gonna actually pour some of this out. That way we could measure this the proper way, because this is filled up all the way to the brim as well. I still can't really see the line, but it's gonna be good for now. And then I'm gonna pour some of this out because this is 8 liters and just way too much oil in here.
That's a big can. This one is bigger.
So we're gonna pour some of this inside. Okay, that's gonna be enough. We just pour a little bit out.
Oil's leaking.
And now we're gonna pour the rest of this out to see how much oil was actually in there. Okay, Kevin, you could move. I don't want to get you dirty.
So much.
That's a lot of oil. That's like
Mhm.
100 pounds oil.
I just, you know how to fix your bike? I can fix it.
That's how it's faster.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix it the way it's gonna be even fast.
Okay, so I could clearly see we're at 2.5 quarts mark here. So we have 16.5 quarts of oil in here, and I'm not really sure where this oil stops, because we're still above this. We're like right over here somewhere. I'm not, you know, it doesn't really say anymore because we have 1, 2. So, oh yeah, so that's 2 gallons. So that's 1 gallon probably, and that's 2. Kind of makes sense because it's 8 liters, because 1 gallon has like 3.75 liters. So 2 gallons would be right here. So we're actually over that, and we could see that by looking. We're like, this line is actually right over here. So this Sprinter can easily have 18 quarts of oil inside right now. So the very next thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and actually remove this oil filter, which is right there, and I have the special tool for it, which is this. I also have another one that you could use, kind of like this. It also opens up and grabs it pretty good, but this is like the best one out of all of them. It works the best. It just really grips it, and as you turn it, it gets it nice and tight. And usually these things are nice and tight on there.
I know where the ABS pump is. I know where it is. This is the ABS pump.
You found it.
And this is the ABS module. Module.
How did
I mean
module?
model. I mean model.
Model? Well, it's module.
Okay.
You're correct on it.
This is where wiper fluid is.
Uh-huh. Whoa. This thing has so much oil. Gosh, this is not supposed to...
An oil filter?
Yes, it's an oil filter, and looks like this oil filter was struggling big time. It twisted it over. And this is actually what I wanted to really see. What's really going on back here, because that's bad right there.
Oh my goodness.
First of all, I could see this is not the original filter that you should be using. You should be using the Mercedes stuff. If you use this other stuff, this is what's going to happen. It's going to crunch it up. And actually, this was never replaced. According to the owner, last service was done on 100,000 miles ago. And this is probably why you're having this kind of problem. So we're going to throw that away. What I want to do is, I'm like so surprised, why isn't this oil going anywhere? This is not how it's supposed to be. This should be completely empty. I've never seen it where there's just oil there like that. So
I think there's something wrong.
I'm going to now remove this bolt again. So I'm gonna pull this bolt out again, see how much more oil comes out. Okay, finally we lost the seal to it.
Wow, that's a lot of oil.
It is so much oil. But this is crazy. Why is there oil there? I don't understand.
This is so unbelievable.
There shouldn't be any oil here. Like, what's going on? Is it so stuffed up that... Why is there oil here?
Oh God, I think gas is leaking out. I think the gas is leaking out from here.
No, it's water.
That's wrong.
So it looks like it's really stuffed up. So I'm wondering if this is going on with this oil not going away. Like, gosh, I mean, the clearances are for the oil, I guess, you know, something's stuffed up somewhere.
Or there's even oil there.
There shouldn't be any oil in here. So by me kind of like moving this thing around, it finally has went down a little bit.
This was there's oil right there. Strange.
But I'm thinking, is there something that was a buildup over here that was causing it not to drain?
I think this filter has a different thing. But all sprinters should have everything the same.
Well, some of them is different. Maybe this one's designed to where the oil stays on the sides, but I'm not certain. I've never seen that before. It should always be empty. Should never have oil here. I actually always used to wipe mine clean. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to put some napkins here, fill them up with oil, and then I'm gonna have to clean this thing up. Stop, please, Jason. You're making trash drop. Don't touch it. Stop, please. Just because I don't see you do it doesn't mean you're not doing it. So don't do it. Don't even think about it.
That's a lot of oil there. What in the world? How many oils are inside of the Sprinter?
Well, it's supposed to be 14 quarts. That's all. But we have drained 16.5 from what I could tell. But if we actually measure it correctly, it's going to be a lot more oil than that. So I need some pliers to pull the oil out and put it into the trash.
Yeah, the Sprinter is very high.
So the oil actually does supposed to drain. This is a normal design from what I could see. Because there's a place where it's supposed to have drained, like right here somewhere. So when you actually remove your oil filter, like it should be this clean. Like there's actually an area right here where you could kind of see those holes. It should actually drain right there. This is where all the oil goes. So I'm actually not sure why this is not draining. Like that's really wild. Like I just don't get it. One thing that I'm thinking that somebody has done, they probably use some kind of other fluids to stop leaks, like stop oil leak. There must be some kind of fluid that they sell or whatever. They must have used that, and this Sprinter has such a low clearance clearances, you know, for the oil to get to the pistons and stuff. So when you do that, it's not going to lubricate things good. And from where you could see, it's even making this oil not to drain, and that's a fairly big size hole back there. So wherever else it needs to go, it's actually stuffed up. So definitely not good. So I'm going to go ahead and actually replace this cap, but I first will wipe it down. When I change oil and I replace these filters, I always wipe everything down. This is just the way I always have done stuff, and I always fully drain it. And when you actually replace an oil into the engine, you want to make sure that you don't put 14 quarts. You put like 13.5, and you just basically monitor it, because every time I have put 14 quarts, it always says oil level too high, and that's just going to keep happening. Here's an oil filter from Mercedes. Actually, they make them look different now than before. I don't like the design. This is not my favorite. This is not how they're supposed to look like. But comparing it to this one, this is made in Korea filter, and this is obviously made in Australia. So it's gonna be better quality, but, and you could, you know, look at the difference. This is the filter that I was calling for, big filter like this. yet somebody replaced it with a very tiny little filter. You could see the difference, guys. And then you wonder why is it not filtering correctly. Just because it's long enough and it's nearly the same length does not make it a correct type of filter. But anyways, let's go ahead and actually install this filter. It's supposed to be a very tight fit, like that. And you're supposed to put it all the way down like that till you hear like a little snap. Because if you don't do that, then you're not doing it correctly. So that's actually very important. Because if the filter's loose in there, well, what are you really filtering? Not filtering much. Where's the seal? What the heck? This is what I want to see. Okay, the seal is here. It's right here. I'm actually going to replace the seal. When it does come together with a seal, might as well actually replace it. So here's the new seal, and there's a tiny little one as well. We're going to actually replace both of them. There's a good chance that they've never been replaced. On my van, I replace it every other time. Like, I don't do it every time. It's just not necessary. And what you need to do is, before you actually replace the seal, you have to put some oil on them, kind of like lubricate them a little, because if you don't do that, they will pull and stretch and actually will rip, and then before you know it, you're wondering why you have oil running out everywhere on your engine. Especially the older T1Ns, they really didn't have the problem when it came to the oil cooler gaskets. And they will have an oil leak if the seal is ripped, or it basically, like, you know, slides over and stuff. So for the little one here, it's a little bit more challenging to remove it. You're gonna need, you know, something like this to try to pry it out of the place. And I could see, you know, this one's pretty old. It's actually hard to pull it out of there, so there's a good chance it's going to actually rip as I'm doing it. So it did rip, and boy, is this thing dry. Like, it's literally dry. Like, that's not good. It's been never replaced. So this one feels nice and rubbery. I'm gonna put that on there. So it's very important to have, you know, good seals. So we're gonna go ahead and actually put the stain right back in here. And what you want to do is, you know, when you have oily hands like this, put some paper towel to try to hold it in place. That's going to give you like a little bit more rigidity. But these things are never easy to put on, and it's like, because you just don't have no place for your hands to really go, especially if you have bigger hands. So right now it's already like a really tight fit. And sometimes what I do is I like to come on this side like this, and I make my hand like a wrench, and I install it like that. So it is going down. And you always want to do these things hand tight. You don't want to do this with some kind of tool to where you over tighten this thing, you mess something up. This goes for pretty much any oil filter you replace. So that's it. It's completely on there. As you can see, it's perfectly seated. So that is good. And now for the final thing, we have this bolt here, and we have a new washer The other washer actually fell in the oil puddle. But you know, these washers, they get crushed all the time, and it's a good idea to replace them. I'm actually quite surprised that this particular one came from Mercedes, actually had a washer on it. I'm not sure if my customer actually asked them for it, or maybe they recommended it for it to come, but that's definitely a good idea that it's on here. So you want to make sure you replace the washer, or at least, well, when I say replace it, at least use a washer. Like, don't try to do it without no washer. And at this point, I could see that area is very dirty. So, like, another thing, want to make sure when you're installing it, you're not installing it on a very gritty, sandy type of surface. And gosh, there's so much oil, it's still coming out. Unbelievable. But this is fine. When it's dripping out like that, that's fine. So what you want to do is go ahead and actually replace it. So next time, I just, you know, when I get ready, I just need to basically go ahead and just put the oil in, and then the oil is pretty much done. It's pretty much replaced. So in this video, technically, we have replaced the oil. By the way, guys, as you tighten in this thing, you don't want to over tighten. As you notice, it started getting tight, and then just do just a tiny bit more like that. And that's it. That's good right there. That's actually going to hold. So it appears to me that a bunch of more oil came out, and we're going to go ahead and pour it inside of this can. So now it's definitely, it's 17 to 18 quarts of oil. That's how much we actually end up pouring out. So I see the copper washer. And just because we replaced the copper washer, it does not mean that this other copper washer is bad. It's just the fact that when you have brand new parts and, you know, you got them already, might as well replace it, because, you know, I do have it. You know, there's no need to really be saving this old one. But of course, nothing wrong with that. So I'm just gonna put it right there. That way we don't lose it, because it's definitely still, you know, good to use it. But a lot of times when people drain in oil, you end up losing it, and then you forget about it, and then you're trying to replace, you know, do your oil change, and that little copper washer is missing. And then what do? You probably replace the bolt and just go with it. And by doing that, you could end up messing up your threads, because you over tighten too much, you know, where the copper washer would have, like, you know, crimped up a little bit, and then you would have had a nice tight fit. But now you have maybe stripped threads, you know, which would not be good. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys like this video. I'm not sure how long it is, but it's definitely a good bit longer. So what we want to do in the next episode, we're going to go ahead and start pulling off this whole radiator support. We have a lot of work to do, so that's going to be a video on that. So as you already know, this is going to be like pretty much a video series that's going to have its own little playlist on the main page of my channel, which is going to say 2010 Mercedes Sprinter oil cooler leak replacement. And if you click on it, you could see a video by video, everything's going to be in order. And I want to do that to help you guys out, to learn a little bit more about your Sprinter van, and what does it take to really do this job. Can you do this job yourself? You know, what kind of tools you really need for this job. So that's what's important. But anyways, guys, if you are a new subscriber, welcome. If you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe to my channel, especially if you're a Sprinter owner, because this is probably one of the biggest Sprinter resources on YouTube. There's other people that are doing it, but I'm probably the one that started it kind of like first, or at least I'm one of the people that has the most videos on this matter. You know, people tell me all the time they don't find these videos anywhere else except my channel. So please, you know, help support this channel. I mean, if you want to drop me a couple dollars, become a member, you know, for $1.99, you'll get early access to all my videos. Like right now, I'm doing all this work and I'm creating a bunch of these videos. And then maybe you want to skip all these videos because you know them and you want to get to the core of, go ahead and removing the oil cooler and stuff like that. You want to skip through, you could do that, because I already have these videos uploaded, and they're not unlocked yet because, you know, I don't want to really mess up my YouTube algorithms. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. God bless you. Good luck with your sprinter, and see you in my next video. Bye-bye. My name is Serge Zimaleta. I'm 37 years old, and yes, I experienced success after buying my first home for cash. Back in 2011, I was broke, but I learned to solve problems on my own. Now, I'm helping others to solve their problems. I know what pitfalls to avoid to stay profitable in business. Need motivation to be more successful in your life? Do you have sprinter expedite or business problems? Then subscribe. Let's find creative solutions to your problems. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my helpful videos.